All right, thank you all so much for being here today and joining us for this webinar going over the Tennessee Reinstatement and Compliance Essential course, otherwise known as T.R.A.C.E. Like I stated, my name is Brittany Morris. I am the Director of Education for the Tennessee Real Estate Commission. Along with me today is our Executive Director, Ms. Denise Baker, as well as our General Counsel, Ms. Anna Matlock. Just some housekeeping items today. This is a webinar, so this is not everyone on camera. Anyone can raise their hand if they'd like, but we will be taking questions in the chat. Director Baker will be monitoring that for us today, and she will be answering that in the chat if she can, but we also have a ton of time saved for the end of this presentation to answer any questions you might have after we go over all this new information. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to our General Counsel, Ms. Anna Matlock, to go over some of the background which led to us creating the T.R.A.C.E. course in the first place. So please go ahead, Anna.
Thank you, Brittany. Good afternoon, everyone. You can hear me, Brittany? Yes? I can't hear you. Okay, great. You hear me. All right, fantastic. Thank you all for joining us today. So I just want to give some additional information on what the legal background is going to be for the foundation of this course. So if many of you have followed the commission over the past several years, you've noticed that we've had a larger influx of individuals who have had licenses that have expired and what we do with those license expiration matters. And so this legislative session, this was part of a larger packet known as the Less is More Act of 2025. It was a legislative matter brought through the governor's office and has several different matters that come from the Department of Commerce and Insurance, along with some of our other regulatory agencies. And there were a couple of matters that were specific to the Tennessee Real Estate Commission. And most of those matters are specific to reinstatement of a license, either due to temporary retirement, for those in temporary retirement and those outside of it. So if you recall, last year, the legislature passed an additional statute that provided a different pathway for individuals with temporary retirement to reinstate their license. So a couple of things that happened with this legislative session, there were amendments to most of the amendments that I'm going to talk to today. If you would like to take the citations down, if not, they'll be provided in the newsletter a lot of different ways. You will see them a lot. The first one I'll talk about is Tennessee Code Annotated, Title 62, Chapter 13, 318. So 318 is the section that specifically deals with temporary retirement. And so we're going to be talking about 318D, specifically Part 2. So what happened in this particular provision is that we added an additional pathway for those persons that are in temporary retirement to reinstate their license. So if an individual, the statute basically reads, I'll read it, any licensee in retirement that fails to reinstate, fails to pay the renewal fee, causing a lapse in licensure, they're able to reinstate their license if the individual, one, pays back all of their renewal fees and penalty fees. We'll talk about those in a second. And two, submits proof of completion of all of their continuing education during the lapsed time period, or submits proof of completion of a commission-approved course consisting of 30 hours of continuing education. So we would have, so that means individuals in temporary retirement have two options for education reinstatement for if their license is to lapse. The first is going to be any continuing education that is due throughout the lapse time period. So if that's one renewal cycle, that's going to be 16 hours, two renewal cycles, 32 hours. I'm not going above 2 because I'm not going to embarrass myself and not add correctly. At that point at 3, well, I think we're at 48 hours and so on and so forth. So this option gives you a second one to, instead of completing the continuing education for the lapse time period, to take the 30-hour commission approved course, which we now call T.R.A.C.E. So this is an option that is not only that is available for those in temporary retirement and also those licensees that have active licenses. So again, individuals whose license lapse because they did not renew their license, they're required to pay those back renewal fees, and each of the back renewal fees are going to be for each licensure period that the person had their license expired for. So if it's 2 years, that's one renewal fee, 3 years, so on and so forth. And the penalty fees are presently laid out in statute, but though in rule, but those are going to be amended to match some of the matters that we have to comply with the statute. And then the second, after the renewal fees and the penalty fees are paid, then we have, again, the 2 options of continuing education that's due during lapse time period, or the 30-hour continuing education course. Also, it should be noted that the commission, that individuals do have the option to, if they choose not to do either of those, to retest and reapply. So that has not been taken off of the table for either of these options at this time point period. So those persons whose license only lapsed for the one licensure period, it's up to them whether they want to take the 16 hours or go ahead and take the 30 hours. But I'll let you know that math is a little disparate there at that point. So that is for individuals in temporary retirement. The second statute that I'm going to talk about today is going to be the next one in a row, which is going to be Tennessee Code Annotated Chapter 13, Section 319, and we're going to be talking about Section C. So this is a new statutory provision that is going to be added this session. It has already gone into effect. And so it states that a person, right now it states a licensee requesting reinstatement expired for more than 2 years, but not temporarily retired. They are may reinstate their license upon 1, the payment of lapse renewal fees, 2, the payment of late penalty fees, and then 3, the completion of a commission-approved 30-hour continuing education course. So there are 3 steps required for reinstatement at that point for individuals during this particular time period. So another statutory provision that was changed with this bill is that penalty fees are capped at $1,200. So beyond the first year, for individuals that are not in temporary retirement, you're not going to see penalty fees beyond $1,200. However, the renewal fee is still going to be per cycle. So there's not a cap on renewal fees, but there is a cap on penalty fees. And then the third step after the payment of the lapse renewal fees, penalty fees, is the 30-hour T.R.A.C.E course. The one thing I do want to talk about in this particular provision is that we are working on a statutory amendment to this particular provision. So right now in rule, it states if your license has been expired for more than 1 year, you're required to retest or reapply. However, the commission does have discretion to waive that. So the statutory provision right now states presently that individuals expired more than 2 years, they're required to do these 3 steps. However, we're currently working on a statutory amendment, but also this is going to be in rule that's going to state that individuals whose license is expired for more than 1 year, but less than 2. So that is what is the eventual end game is going to be, is more than 1 year, but less than 2. This is something that is available for them to do. So As it states right now, if your license is expired for more than 2 years, these 3 options are still available to you. And right now in rule, it states if your license is expired for more than 1 year, then you would have to retest and reapply. So those persons that are falling in between the 1 year but less than 2 year, there are going to be essentially 2 options for those persons until we're able to get either the rule enacted or the statute enacted, whichever comes first, which will probably be the statute based upon how long it takes for rulemaking. So those persons that have more than 1 year but less than 2 have the option to 1, retest and reapply as was provided before, or 2, have their matter be request to be presented to the commission. And when we ask the persons to request to be presented to the commission, it would be very similar to our waiver requests at this time. And we're going to ask the commission to essentially honor what the statute has right now and those requests to allow the persons to be able to do the steps of 1, 2, and 3 for payment of a lapse renewal fee, the penalty fees, and then the 30-hour continuing education course. So that is what is the kind of, I guess, little situation that we're in now, but we found essentially a stopgap to do that at this time. So basically anyone from that 1 year to less than 2, I'll restate again, more than 1 year but less than 2, the options are to either retest and reapply or ask the matter to be represented to the commission. And knowing that when the matter is represented to the commission, we are going to ask that they honor what the statute says right now for those 3 steps. So those are the 2, that's the statutory background behind the T.R.A.C.E course. So I think it's going to be a great option for those individuals who have had their license expired for an extended period of time. And that is essentially all that I have to say. The last thing I'll say is this 30-hour course, the last thing I'll say is that we do have that slight amendment, even though it's doesn't necessarily have to do with the T.R.A.C.E course at this time. But since we had another statutory change where principal brokers that supervise affiliates are required to take continuing education beginning January 1st, 2026, if a principal broker after January 1st, 2026 has an expired license at that time period, then the 30-hour course would be available to them at that point. But we wouldn't see those persons in that situation until, I think at earliest, per my math, 2027. So that's the current state of what it is. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer those in the chat, or we can also discuss them at the end of the webinar. And I will turn this back over to Brittany.
Thank you so much, Anna. So as you all heard, what led to us creating this 30-hour course curriculum, we treated the curriculum and we broke it up into 3 10-hour modules. The first module, we based it off of the curriculum we already had through the T.R.A.C.E core course topics. So if you're a provider that's already offering T.R.A.C.E core courses, you'll see that this first module is very similar to that curriculum that we already have. Some of the main ones we definitely want our providers and instructors when doing this course for licensees. We want them to make sure that you are hitting the reinstatement pathways that Anna just highlighted, as well as the retirement process. You know, we want to make sure our licensees know that they not to let their license expire, that they can put their license in retirement in order to avoid the extra work and extra civil penalty fees associated with getting their license reinstated. And then also go over, you know, the expiration of a license, that they're on a 2-year cycle, to make sure it's really important to understand that they keep, you know, notice somewhere that they know their license is going to expire on this particular date. I know it's a 2-year cycle. A lot of things happen in 2 years, but we definitely want our licensees to be more responsible in that fact, so we have less licensees going and expiring their license and needing to reinstate them. Another subject under the first module we really want instructors and providers to hit is advertising. This is one that I know in a lot of core courses, a lot of our instructors do spend quite a bit of time on this subject, just because this can lead to quite a bit of complaints. And we also want to make sure all our licensees are being compliant at all times. So it is definitely a really good refresher to go over the exact, Tennessee code rules and regulations associated with advertising. Another big one is principal broker supervision. We want to make sure, if it's a person who had a broker's license and they're looking to reinstate, or even affiliate broker, they understand the purpose and importance of principal broker supervision. In the second 10-hour module, you'll see that this is very similar to the course for new affiliates curriculum that's already out there, and enroll all the subject matter that, if someone is looking to take that initial 30 hours that they need to go over. Some of the big ones that we want our providers and instructors to hit are the fair housing, and then of course, ethics and etiquette. I think these are really great subjects to go ahead and review when you have these individuals who are looking to take this new 30-hour course in order to reinstate their license. It's definitely a really good refresher. A good thing to note for those providers that are offering this pre-licensing course, I know that course itself is 30 hours, so we have taken that, we've kind of truncated it down to a 10-hour module. So I know there's a lot of subject matter in that original 30 hours, but we went ahead and truncated it down a little bit more in this curriculum. And then in the third 10-hour module, it's based off the broker management, Office of Broker Management course in the curriculum that's associated with that 30-hour course. This is just a really good review of that as well in this 10-hour module for this 30-hour course. Some of the subject matters that we think are really important to hit is, of course, the best management practices and functions when it comes to brokers. Again, the people who can take this T.R.A.C.E course can have either a broker's license or affiliate broker's license that they're trying to reinstate. So we want to make sure we're hitting all the important functions when it comes to Office of Broker Management. Same with the stages development in a real estate firm. And then continuing education for brokers. I think this is a really big one that a lot of licensees, whether they're a current broker or looking to upgrade to a broker license, they get really confused. There is 120 hours of CE that they are required to complete within a 3-year period. And if they fail to do so, then obviously there are repercussions of that as well, such as civil penalties for being late. And of course, it's 120 hours of any of the elective course. But this is continuing education courses, not pre-licensing courses. And I think that's where a big confusion lies when we're talking about that continuing education for brokers. And then in part of this as well is part of the new statute that Anna just mentioned is that the grandfathering status of some of our principal brokers is now going to go away. So if brokers, starting January 1, 2026, if they are managing others and other affiliate brokers under them, and they're the principal broker and they're currently in grandfather status, that will be going away beginning of next year. They will be required to take that 16 hours of continuing education, just like our other licensees who are, say, currently or just recently licensed. And then, of course, disciplinary actions. I think this is a really good section that a lot of our licensees who are looking to take this new T.R.A.C.E course need to be well aware of, especially when it comes to track kind of the steps that might be taken against their license, and just go through all of the steps of, what happens, what's expected of them in order to keep their license compliant within the state of Tennessee. Another thing I do want to mention is, since this is a 30-hour course, there is a requirement to have a final exam. Now, I will say, since you guys are providers, it will be up to you to create that exam, what it looks like. We have really no qualms about it. It can be multiple choice, 20 questions. We just want you to go ahead and create that final exam, and that's going to actually be a part of the application process. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and share with you the actual curriculum for the T.R.A.C.E course. Those are just some of the highlights. This is already live right now on our website. If you go to the T.R.A.C.E website and you click education, and then you go to the courses, you'll see this is one of the very last links in that first option, and it'll literally say T.R.A.C.E curriculum. As you can see, it is already timed for you. So if you are looking as a provider to offer this course, this is already a timed outline for you. This is the instruments we're looking for you to use, as well as to go over kind of the timelines we're looking for and wanting you guys to focus on. As you can see, the reinstatement pathways, retirement process, expiration of license, that's the very first thing we want our instructors who are teaching this course to go over first off. There is a reason why these licensees are taking this course, and we want to go over that first thing with them as part of this new 30-hour course. And then, of course, we're going through the T.R.A.C.E law, rule, and policy update. Again, this is already very similar to the curriculum. If you've ever looked at the curriculum for a T.R.A.C.E core course, this is very similar to that. So those providers that are already offering that, you will see that this is stuff that you're already instructing licensees about. So, and it goes from everything from our rules, and then goes through E&O, suspension and penalty fees, of course, agency. Of course, there's the advertising, the different types of advertising, contracts, disclosure, and disclosure forms are really important. Property management, and then the principal broker supervision, and then the annotated codes and rules associated with that. So we want to make sure that you are mentioning those, and that these licensees who are taking this course do know that they can go in depth and find the rules where everything is listed if need be. Then in module 2, like I said, this is based off of the course for new affiliates. In this 10 hours, I know that's usually, again, a 30-hour course. We have truncated it down to 10 hours, or 10 CE hours, I should say, as you can see is the broken out timed outline. So first is going over the listings, contracts, fair housing, the risk reduction, ethics and etiquettes, and then finance and closings. And the third and final module is going to be your broker management review. So of course, you start off with the best management practices and functions. Of course, then we want you to go over the Tennessee Real Estate Broker License Act of 1973. And then of course, what's the purpose, part of that, what's the purpose of T.R.A.C.E? I think a lot of people here know that sometimes licensees get confused with us and maybe the association, but how are we different? Of course, the firm organization as well. And stages of development of a real estate firm. This is going to be really important to go over, especially if you have licensees who are taking this course that are looking to reinstate their broker's license. This is a really big subject that they would need to review, as well as the continuing education for brokers. This is great to review for those who are affiliate brokers who might be aspirational. Once they reinstate their affiliate broker license, they would look to upgrade to a broker's eventually. And then the disciplinary actions about complaints and hearings, all the processes that are due with that. And of course, the repercussions that could come with, you know, certain actions, such as you could be suspended, revocation, or a downgraded license. And then we have an exam as well at the end, or a section for exam. Again, I do believe Director Baker put that link to that curriculum in the chat. If you'd like to go ahead and look for it yourself or save it to your desktop, it is available online right now. Now, since we're talking to our providers today, course applications. If any of you are interested in offering this, and I hope you are, offering this new course to licensees, we are obviously taking new course applications for this. The good news is that we already have a timed outline for you all. It is available for you to download and attach to a course application. The fee associated for this course, since it is 30 hours, would be $25. And we would just ask, as part of that application, not only is that timed outline that we've already created for you attached, but also please attach your copy of a final exam that you've created, just so we're aware that you are going to be offering one as part of the assigned curriculum. The last day if you're looking to get this approved at this next August 6th commission meeting, your last day to submit this application would be July 28th. So we're hoping to see some of that. If you have any questions maybe about instructor requirements, who can teach this course? They must be a licensed broker or affiliate broker for 5 years in Tennessee. It's similar to the requirements we already have for those instructors who are already teaching your T.R.A.C.E core courses or your course for new affiliates. So if you already have instructors doing that, they would be qualified to teach this new course as well. But if you're looking to maybe have a new instructor or hire a new instructor, just know that they have to be a licensed broker or affiliate broker for at least 5 years in the state of Tennessee. I know I went through a lot of information quite quickly, and I know so did Miss Matlock on the legal side of things, but I wanted to make sure we had plenty of time to answer any questions that you might have. I know this is a new course, and we want to help as much as we can. So I'm going to put myself on mute, or should I say, Denise, do we have any questions? Okay. Oh, people are typing. Okay, we'll give it a second.
We have a question from Paul. Do we know how many licensees might be affected or benefit from this new course each year? Paul, are you able to hear me? If you can give me a thumbs up. Or Anna, are you able to hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up? Thank you for your question, Paul. We have several licensees that this would qualify for, or that they would qualify for a course of this nature. So it's really hard to put a number on it. If you listen to the commission meetings every other month, you will hear several waiver requests requesting waivers of certain education requirements. And so this is another tool in the toolkit that the commissioners can use and to assign those who may have missed their expiration date when applying or reapplying and trying to reinstate their license. Thank you for that question, Paul. Are there any other questions?
While we wait for other questions, I also wanted to mention, so if licensees do complete this course with you, it's going to be similar to if they completed a pre-licensing course with you, meaning you have to give them a certificate of completion that they can go ahead and attach to their application to be reinstated with us. So I know you might, instead of putting it in CE broker, you would just go ahead and give them a certificate of completion, just so we have that on hand.
It looks like we have a question that was sent directly to another panelist. If you want to state that question and let the group know.
Sure. These the questions are very similar to the question that we had from Mr. Bullington. It's looking for a breakdown of the expired licensees in each area, which is, I think, that's something that we could possibly pull. Through a data request from the commission. But the issue in that is that we don't have like an end for expired license. So for example, I had an individual reach out to me via email today whose license expired in 1998. So that person would be listed on the expired license at that time. So it would be anyone that has been expired. The amount of people we're looking for is people that are at that year mark and above, but we don't really have a stopgap at this time of the amount of people. We have not, I don't think we've seen like a specific interest for licensees at this time for this specific class. It was more of what we were seeing through Staff Lens and legal of the requests that we've been getting before the commission quite frequently from individuals that had been expired for more than 1 year. So more than 1 year, the option at that point is to retest and reapply. And we would have individuals that have been licensed for an extended period of time that were said, for example, my license, I haven't, I got it in 1998. The test is going to be difficult. So this would be an opportunity for a certain group of persons to be able to reinstate their license without having to take the test again. So those, I think, are the two questions I got. Additionally, but I see, Denise, we have several other questions after that.
Question from
Can't hear you at this time. Nope, still can't hear you. Maybe she can't hear me. Brittany?
Are you able to hear me now? Can I get a thumbs up, Anna?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you able to hear my response to the
No.
Sheila Hensley's question? If you could respond by throwing a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. I will repeat this question. Sheila Hensley asked, will this be offered online or only in classroom? Will this be offered online or only in classroom, since online must be approved by ARELA, which is a long and expensive process? As you all know, any class that's offered online must be approved by ARELA. Thank you for your question. The next question is, will you provide course providers with materials for this course? Many course providers already are teaching similar courses. So what we hope that you all do is pull from those course materials and create course materials that you're able to teach the categories, the category of licensees that this affects. Thank you for your question, Tony Jordan. The next question is from Bill. Does this 30-hour course qualify for CE credit? The answer is yes. We have another question from Jim Gibbs. Is the course classified as a pre-licensing course or continuing education course? Can it be used to fulfill the 120 hours for new brokers? I don't think there is a limitation that prevents this course from being used by new brokers that are seeking the 120 hours that is required in the first 3 years that a new broker has his or her license. That is a great question. Thank you, Jim Gibbs. All right, I don't see any other questions. Give it another moment to see if there are any other questions. While we wait on that, thank you all so much for attending this webinar. We hope it was of value to you. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Brittany, the Director of Education for T.R.A.C.E, at the contact listed on your screen right now.
Thank you, Denise. Yes, thank you everyone for attending today. We are excited about this new pathway and option for licensees to reinstate. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if I could be of any assistance at all, please feel free to contact me anytime at both of these emails. I monitor both on a daily basis. And I'm happy to assist in any way I can. And we are looking forward to possibly seeing some course applications to include in our next commission meeting for the commission to approve on this subject matter. So thank you all so much. And again, this has been recorded, and if you need to refer back to it, this will be posted on our website under the Education tab. Thank you so much.
Thank you.